here. First place winner of the regional, my goodness. Yo, please introduce yourself to the world.
Hi, I'm Ricardo, and I got first place today in DFW with Volcanic Pile FTK.
My goodness, FTK. Yo, what made you decide to use this deck for the event?
I've just been playing it for a little while now, going on a month, and initially it was kind of a meme because I got done watching GX and I got to Austin O'Brien, and I remember how based the Volcanic cards are, and I read the new ones and I saw that they were pretty good. And we were in that like fake format for a while with just the Fire King structure deck, if y'all remember. And every deck was terrible anyway, so I just started playing this. And then Snake Eye cards have really good synergy. Promethean Princess came out and it just made the deck a lot stronger. So I've just been sticking with it. It's actually Stone Mountain like 2 weeks ago, I got 4th. So this was like a run back with it, and it's been doing pretty well for me. So.
Before we see the goo, any shout-outs?
I mean, shout out to the people I ride with, Trevor Comer. If you know Goo Gaming, he's on that team, and they're awesome, obviously. Yeah, just all my homies that I came with, that's pretty much it. And you guys for doing the profile,
Without further ado, please take away with the goo.
Got you, man. So it's sorted by like package, and the biggest part of the whole thing is the Volcanics. They are essential to what it does. So we have 3 Trooper, 3 Shell, 3 Scattershot, 2 Rimfire, and 2 Emperor. So he's like a starter card because he on summon searches any Volcanic card, and he's the main way you set up your FTK because he gives your opponent a bomb token for a discard. Volcanics care about your opponents having monsters. Previously, before this card came out, if you went first, the cards just didn't do shit, but now that he's out, he's the one who enables that. And also, his deck's just really awkward to hand trap. Like, you would think you just hit him, but if people like imperm him on summon because Princess is a card, you can bring him back and then set it up later. This is just to be sent off reload as like a strong interruption for if you kind of miss out on your FTK, but it also just like makes up with random burns. And then there's 2 of this because, again, sometimes if you miss out on FTK, you make them have to play into 2 of those. They'll take 1,000 on each summon, and they'll just wind up dying before they can do anything that matters. All of these cards are really good. The only one that's like a little whack, if you see it, like depending on hand comp, is Scattershot, because like obviously pretty much all the Volcanics are normal summons, but that's why the deck is so big, to try and like disperse these guys out so you don't just draw 12 normal summons every hand. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So carrying on with that engine, there's the 3 Volcanic Blaze Accelerator. It's the main search target for your Trooper, and it's one of your main pieces for it's a combo piece going first, but it's also like a big part of how you play through boards. So if people don't know what it does, you send a level 1 Pyro from deck, target a monster, pop it, and it isn't hard once per turn. So if you manage to go through multiple copies, you do that multiple times, and it can just trade for a lot. And this is a brick that you have to play to activate this. If you draw it going second, it's like fine sometimes, but you'd prefer not to. Then you have 1 Emission. Emperor sets a trap on his summon and burns for every banished pyro, and this is the trap he sets. There's another one you can play that's like a negate, but I didn't do that because I'm aiming to FTK when I go first. So instead of playing this really awkward negate trap, I'm just doing this and making them have to not kill themselves, because either they will die trying to play into it, or a lot of times people spend their battle phase, and if people spend their battle phase and the turn gets back to you, you're killing them pretty much every time. And then the 1 reload for Scattershot. Yeah, it's mostly there for Scattershot. And you can also, when this deck is going second, you don't try to hand trap your opponent, you just play through boards and try to like gas through everything, and this helps with that. So if you have Volcanics in your hand, since all the Volcanics make value, you can send them off of this to draw into another card. It's like winds up being like a +2 or 3. And then, like I said, once it's engraved, it's a strong interruption with Scattershot and can make up burn damage for very specific things that would otherwise stop the FTK. So that card was nice. And it's also really nice when you draw with this, Black Witch. We're playing Snake Eye cards because they're really good, but also because they have really good synergy with the Volcanics. There's absolutely no reason not to play them, including her. And she's at 3 just so we see her because our deck is 60 cards. And then 3 of these for the same reason, because we want to see her. If you draw too many of them, it kind of sucks, but like, just draw 6 different cards. Then on to the Snake Eyes themselves, we have 1 of each of all of the little roaches and then 1 of the big roach. 1 of all of these was fine. I never really wanted more. You could play more of this because this on its own is 1 card FTK, but it plays into like every hand trap. And in the format we're in, I figured you're going to have to play through hand traps anyway, so I don't want to open this to try to go for something that's just not going to work. Instead, I'd rather see like the bonfire to get the extender and try to go from there. And then this is just like a pivot extender for if you draw this, because I draw him a lot for whatever reason. And then everybody knows how good this card is. And they do the same thing they do in a Snake Eye deck, except a little bit more, because you're trying to kill your opponent. Then you have the targets for your Poplar. These cards are really good. Everybody knows what they do. And they do the same thing they do in this deck. And then, even more engine, there's a small Fire King package. Yeah, I know. And then it's 1 island and 1 sanctuary. I kind of want more of these because like they are nice to draw, but when you see too many of them, it's just like which they suck. So I decided to just play them at one-ofs. These guys are also kind of like the Volcanics. They're kind of bricky, but they're only bricks usually if you see any of them by themselves, except for him, obviously. So if you draw any of them in conjunction with the Island or Sanctuary or even the Kieran, they wind up being pretty nice. This is actually the main thing that you pop in this deck with Runics, because when it's destroyed, you send any fire monster from your deck to the grave, so it makes all your engines bridge. So your Volcanics get to the Snake Eyes, which get to these, which get to everything else. So they all are pretty cohesive, and it's pretty nice. Then even more engine, a small Horus package.
Super base.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. It's just these and the one, because I don't want to put more bricks in the deck, because you can see there's already quite a few. I used to play more of this because I thought I would want to draw it to like help play through stuff, but I kind of realized drawing this is terrible. A lot of the times you would pretty much just, obviously you would always rather see this, but I didn't realize until after Stone Mountain how much worse drawing this is than drawing this. So it's just one of the other two and 3 of the good one to make a certain rank 8. And then you can also use them for like link bodies and stuff, obviously. And then a crucial part of the FTK is Greater Inari Fire and Spiritual Fire Arcuranai. So I'll explain how you do it. I'm not going to go through the whole combo, but I'll explain like the end part of it. But this is a key part of it, because on summon, if people don't know what this does, this is one of those weird cards that summons itself from deck. So on summon by that effect, you burn your opponent for the attack of a monster they control, and then when it's sent to grave, it searches this card, and this card just tributes a fire monster to do damage to your opponent equal to the attack. So they will have a monster, because you're going to give it to them. It's the bomb token, so it'll burn for 1,000. And then, like I said, I'll explain the rest when we get a little further. But yeah, he's crucial to that. And then I just play like random extenders, basically. This is like more access to Witch if you somehow don't draw her. And also because this deck has like a lot of spell traps that you just wind up and play, you can send them off to get draws in case you're like trying to play through a board. It's also Spellcaster, which matters, like, because when this deck goes second, even if you can't break their board and like stunt their follow-up, your goal is to kill them, so it doesn't matter. They will die in their draw phase, and that's all you care about. And then the other random monster is just a Jet Synchron as like a pivot send for your baby Kieran if you're trying to like play around Nib and stuff. He's pretty good. I use him pretty regularly, and I never mind seeing him. Then even more engine cards. We have 3 Fire Recovery. I was playing this at 1 in Stone Mountain, but I realized just how good this card is after the fact. This is what I cut down on the sarcophaguses for, because this deck is like surprisingly consistent because of this card and the Horus and the Fire King cards, because stuff like this lets you clear the bad cards out of your hand, and you just like make up a lot of value with your Volcanics, because like this plus Shell is like 5 extra cards. Because if people don't know, if it's in grave, so it's like a bad monster or more that you pitch a card for, but when it's in grave, you shuffle, you banish it, and you can shuffle back 3 banish or grave fire monsters to draw a card. So if you do that on your Shell, you're gonna have like 5 copies of Shell, and that just makes a lot of value. Then we're playing Bonfire. This is like the Bonfire deck because all the Volcanics are Pyro. Yeah, this card's great. That's pretty much all there is to it. And the only non-engine in the deck was 3 Triple Tactics Talent, because I didn't want to play Hand Trap Wars. If I get hand trapped, I want to rip your other hand trap out of your hand, and I want to kill you. So that's what this is for. And this is also just really good into like every board that's in the format right now. Like, it's crazy against Voiceless, which I didn't play against today. I played against a lot of Rogue, and in the last few rounds I played against Snake Eye, but like this card's still crazy against Snake Eye decks too. Yeah, it's just the only non-engine that I think I want with this deck. And I think if you play too much non-engine, it actually starts to make the deck worse. Like, it just starts not working, and it's really weird. So yeah, that was all the non-engine in the main deck, and then a random 1-for-1 and a random Monster Reborn, because this card's crazy when you play Snake Eye cards, and this card is another random extender, and it's just randomly better because of the other fire decks in the format. So that's the main deck, full 60 cards, double sleeved, and then we'll go into the extra deck. So it's 15 cards, obviously, and we play one Anima. Because this is a combo piece in this deck. It's not like the other fire decks used to do where it's just like, I got you. This is how you get access to your Inari Fire, because he's a spellcaster. And Inari Fire's summoning requirements is sending a level 4 lower fire and a spellcaster. You generate like infinite level 1 bodies, so you just turn one of those into this, and that gets you a new Inari. Then the rest of the extra deck is basically just like a Snake Eye extra deck. It's 1 Link Karibo, 1 IP, 1 SP, Dark, Hida. This is like a pivot option for when you don't FTK, because it's just like a monster effect negate. It doesn't come up too often. You could probably play whatever else over it, but when you have to just make a board, this is like surprisingly good. Sunlight Wolf for the same reason the other fire decks play it. Phoenix for the same reason the other fire decks play it. The one Promethean Princess because she's insane, and she makes all these engines turn into like, they just work so well together. Everything gets to everything else, and she's why that works. And then the one Celine to help you like play through nibs and stuff. Appaloosa for the same thing, because ideally when I'm going for the FTK, I'm trying to end on these plus the FTK pieces, because that beats the like nib Imperm combo. Because the only thing you need on board to kill them is your Emperor, and doing this will usually like guarantee that you have that, unless they waited for you to do your entire turn and they hit you with Imperm nib Gamma or something. But if that's the case, then they were just better than you. Amblo Whale, which I know a lot of fire decks cut, but he's like, and honestly he's cuttable here. I just don't know what I would play it over it just yet. But he also has cool synergy in this deck because of Princess, and if you bring back Trooper and then link this off, you can give your opponent the bomb token. If you made this, and then the bomb token will trigger this, so you can pop this and their bomb, and then this will float into another body, so it just like makes a lot of extra bodies. But like, he's mid, you can not play him. And then it's Access Code Talker for OTK lines, and then the Zombie Vampire, which is the only rank 8 for our Horus cards, because this just like lets your Horus cards try to get into your other engines. And then it's obviously even better versus the other fire decks, because usually you hit like Ash or something. I kind of want to have like Zealantis and stuff in the extra deck, but this is just like fine enough, because what you'll try to do when you go for game going second is just do this and another big body, which you have like a million ways to do. So it can be like this in Flamberg, and then if they have nib, they have to do it there, and then you get those other 2 bodies, and that'll let you keep going to set up like the same thing that you do when you FTK, which before we get to the side, I'll just show what that is real quick. So these are like secondary and tertiary to the whole thing. You don't need them for the FTK, but I'm trying to do this when I'm doing the FTK every time to like insulate from hand traps, because there's no point in going for something if it's just going to lose to every hand trap in the game. So the FTK is another thing that like isn't essential, but it is good when you do it. Is just these. So what will happen on your turn, after you give them the bomb, since the bomb's 1,000 attack, you'll special Vista at some point, that'll burn for 1,000. You'll kill it with the Volcanic Blaze Accelerator, which you also don't always have to do. If you don't have Volcanic Blaze Accelerator, you can still get the damage you need to kill them, but it's just good to have this, and it does a lot. So that's usually how you do it. So this will be 1,000, this will be 5, and then when I'm summoning her, I'm usually banishing one of my own Pyros out of grave and then summoning him. So usually he's going to be hitting for 25. So that'll be 4,000 on your own turn. So I guess this isn't a true FTK because they get a turn, but you kill them in their draw phase. So, whatever. And then you'll have these 2 cards set. So this card has 2 effects. It can either special summon a Volcanic from the deck, ignoring summoning conditions, which will usually be him if you aren't killing them, because that'll make them kill themselves playing into those. But the other effect that you usually use is you target a Pyro on field. If it's yours, you burn for half the attack, and if it's the opponent's, you burn for all the attack. So obviously it's going to be yours. You target this, and that'll do 1550, and then you tribute this, and that'll do 31. So you did 4,000 on your own turn, plus 15, just ignore the 50, so that'll be 55. and then you hit them for the 31, so that'll be 86, and they die. Then the other things that like I try to go for when I'm doing this, just to like insulate against certain stuff, is the reload. Because if they somehow have something that stops this or this gives you an extra 1500 damage, and it's also just like a strong interruption. So yeah, that's the whole thing. And like I said, you just do these so you don't lose out to every hand trap in the game. And that's the main and extra, and I'll show the side, which I'm not super happy with. It's the same one I played at Stone Mountain, but I don't know what to do with it, to be honest. The deck's 60 cards, and I'm just not sure what like is really great for this format, to be honest. So I'm siding, I'll probably keep playing these. These are for like random decks like Labyrinth, which I did play against Labyrinth today. And game 1, I go first, and he DDG'd me on my first turn, and then he gets to his turn, and he eradicated me. And I still won that game. I didn't have these cards in that game, but like these are for decks like that, where the only way they're beating you is like a 4-card combo into something that doesn't let you play the game. These are also just for like random shifter decks. You hope to see it and hope it's enough, because this deck can't do a damn thing through shifters. So if they got it, they got it. These are for Voiceless and Snake Eye. They're really good against Snake Eye. One of the Snake Eye decks I played against, this was the only non-engine I opened. Not the only non-engine, but it was like the only hand trap I opened when he did his combo, and he went into Savage, and I just banished his Link Karibo, and that actually messed up like his entire turn. So he wound up ending on Baron, and like he actually did most of the combo. He did on like Baron, Flamberg, IP, but like this was just enough to get me there against that deck. So yeah, it makes a lot of value. Then the 3 Cosmic Switch, they were pretty good in Stone Mountain, but I think they're a little bit worse now. Like, I don't know, they're mostly here at this point for Summon Limit, but they're also there for like the random decks. Like you might bring it in against Voiceless, but I don't think this deck has a super hard time with Voiceless. But against that matchup, you're probably bringing it in because they like to side Summon Limit. So yeah, these are fine. Like all of these are pretty good. If you can side Mourner, which would be really cool. I didn't do that today, but the extra burn damage is just really funny. And then I sided one of this. This was good. This did come up. I played against 2 Cash, and I just killed one of them because of this. Because like I said, your goal when you go second is to just kill people. You don't care how much follow-up they have if they die. So this was good. I'd probably keep playing it. And the only thing that like I'm super not happy with it all is Nib. I never brought it in once. And like I said, to be fair, I played against a lot of Rogue. But Rogue is usually where this card is good. But I drew it one time against one of my Cash opponents, and it just didn't matter because he did like the Oppo line, which I could have nibbed him sooner, so that was on me, but I was still able to win that game just because like if the shifter decks don't see shifter against this deck, they can just pack it up. It's not happening. But yeah, in the future I probably wouldn't side this, but it's just like is there as a concession for the random shifter decks like Cash or Vanquish Soul. But I mean, I think that deck's solid anyway, but they don't always play into Nib, so this probably wouldn't be great there. So it just probably needs to be something else, but I don't know what it would be. And yeah, that's it.
Sweet. Well, yo, congrats on winning the regional, man.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, thank you all.